Hey everybody, welcome to April 2013 for our video of the month. And I thought this week I would talk about a little bit about water chemistry a little bit and keep it simple if we can, because so many people come in here during the week and ask me about shock versus chlorine versus shock. So what I want to make clear is what you have to understand what shock does. And I'll make it real brief in a 15-second type of thing. Chlorine or bromine, your sanitizer, fights dirt or germs or bacteria. And during that process, it leaves a byproduct, like a TDS, or a totally dissolved solid, as we call it in the industry. Well, that totally dissolved solid stays in your water. It doesn't hurt you, you can't see it, smell it, or touch it, but it builds up a reservoir in there as the chlorine keeps fighting its battle against germs. So what happens is your water kind of becomes a garbage can, if you will, for all the contaminants that the chlorine or bromine leaves behind. So what we need to do is those things build up a reservoir, and when they get to a certain level, it's called lockup. And what happens is that the chlorine or the chloramines or the TDSs make a wall, and the chlorine can't get through to fight the dirt. So no big deal, but you're not getting sanitized. It can't hurt you. But you want to get rid of these byproducts so the chlorine can have a clear window on getting through to open up to fight the germs. So we sell Renew, most of you know we sell Renew Shock, a non-chlorine shock treatment, which basically 2 ounces you put in your spa once a week or so, depending on the use, and then open up the lid and let it breathe for 20 minutes. That's shock treatment. It gets rid of the contaminants that the chlorine or bromine leave behind. Now ozone will do a certain amount of that. It'll oxidize, gets rid of some of it, and keep the buildup. But when you have gray water and your filters are clean, and the spa is being used, you got plenty of chlorine, and it's gray and dirty, kind of smelly looking, you gotta shock it once a week. You use Renew or a non-chlorine shock treatment to get those TDSs out of the water so the chlorine has a front window on getting through to get rid of those contaminants for proper sanitation. If you have any questions, give us an email, I'll be glad, or come down, we have a sheet that we can give you that you can hang on your refrigerator and such, and we'll take care of it. So enjoy your spa, summer's coming. Thanks for coming in, and happy April. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome to Rogue Valley Spas. It's April 2013, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about what shock does. So many of you guys come in and don't really kind of understand what it does, and I have a sheet of paper, I give it to you. But I want to do video of the month this month on just what shock does. Chlorine or bromine is a sanitizer that goes in there and fights all the germs and bacteria and such. And during that process, it always leaves a byproduct, something that it leaves behind, a TDS, a totally dissolved solid that we call in the industry. Now what happens is your water is kind of like a trash can of waste. It builds up a garbage can of TDSs. It's not a big deal. You can't smell them, touch them, or feel them. But what happens in your water is it becomes so full of contaminants that the chlorine actually can't bounce off this smoke screen to fight the bacteria. So you need to get rid of these contaminants if you're using your spa. It's kind of like filling up the gas can on your car. If you're not driving, you don't need to fill it with gas. If you're not using your spa, you really don't need to shock it. But if you're using it, at the end of the week, shock it with the lid half off so it can breathe 2 ounces of Renew. It's going to get rid of those contaminants. So you have a clear window at the end of the week for getting the chlorine through to the other side to fight the dirt, or the bromine. Chlorine's a little faster. We like chlorine. So if you have any questions, remember 2 ounces per 400 gallons of Renew, and keep the cover off and run it for 20 minutes. And that should take care of your clarity problem. So happy April, and we'll get back to you next month for a video. Thanks for coming in.